How you doing, man? How's the project?
It's going well.
Going well? What part you on?
I'm just getting the table view, and I think that's about it. I might do the advanced stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Since we all have audio, we'll go like kind of one at a time if we have Q&A the minute it starts.
Okay.
Not more people are coming in this point. Hello, Mr. Greg.
Hey, good morning.
Morning. Can you hear me nice and clear?
Nice and clear.
All right, cool, dude. Anybody who's hopping in, if you have questions, we could just kick them off right away. What this is about is more like a Q&A, like how's the project going? Is there any questions? What is this part of the app supposed to do? That kind of thing. All good there, Greg? Good?
Yeah, I haven't planned it out in particular, but it says that there's a table view required for each of the Ticketmaster and the museum.
Well, not required. You could use the same table view. Right? What part are you looking at?
Let me see.
Oscar, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good, Alex. Thank you.
Good. Mr. Jahid, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
All right. So as we're saying, like as you guys hop in, you could either Slack out a chat message question you have, or
You too, Mr. Alex.
hello, Tiffany. ¿Qué pasó?
I'm right above you. How you didn't see me?
Oh wow! Look at that. How's everything?
You can't see me this time because I look crazy.
It's good. As we have questions, let's ask it either verbally or in chat. And if it becomes too much verbally, we'll just do it in chat or whatever. But we're talking about CTA there.
Hi, Alex.
Hello.
I had a question about the branching.
The branching, okay.
Yeah. So do you guys expect us to like do all the files first and then branch off to QA and then
You should branch off the minute you create your Xcode project, right? So the minute you push to GitHub, that first time you push to GitHub there, I would create a QA branch and start doing all my work on QA.
Okay. Well, because I already kind of added 2 files on there, like the get ignores and stuff, and
what are you doing in the get ignore, just to be curious?
Oh, the secrets file and the Google plist.
So since we have a private repo, there's no need to ignore those files.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So actually, it's easier for us as we grade.
Okay.
So I wouldn't even include get ignore there.
All right. So should I just delete the files then?
Mr. One should be keeping his questions on chat. Anyone else having trouble with Zoom? Okay, he has trouble with Zoom itself. The link doesn't work for me. Can somebody work with One? He's actually slacking out that he has problems with Zoom. Okay. So May,
yeah.
So May, I would remove the get ignore and just have everything exposed in your private repo.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Cool.
And then I'll branch off then.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yeah, Alex, I actually have a question as well.
Okay.
For the collections search, are we searching by the artist name? Because there are other ways.
Okay, so let's take a look at that. Awesome. Thank you for that. Let us... Let's take a look at this real quick. Actually, let me jump over here. And you're talking about the collections API, right? This guy?
Yes.
All right. So if I open that up, so if you take a look at the API endpoint here, this is the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So here you said, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a very important question. Amin is asking for the collections API for the Rijks Museum. How should we be searching, right? Everybody, please go over to the Rijks Museum collection API. So if you have access, which we all have, access to the lecture, the CTA notes here, please click on the collection API here. Does everybody have the collection API?
Yeah.
All right, so
Yep.
click on it.
Yes.
Click on it. It's going to take us to the API documentation for the Rix Museum. And scroll down to where it says example request collection API. Do we all see that here? Yes?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Hold on.
cool.
Can I
So-
just watch it on your thing? Because I can't get to it.
What's that?
I can't get to it right now. I'm gonna just watch it on your thing.
Try to get to it now. We at our homes, we have our time here. Try to get to it now.
I feel
Oh.
like I can't even.
What, you can get the link? You have the link,
I-
right?
I think Tiffany's having trouble because it takes up the whole screen to use Zoom most of the time unless you change the options.
We're not all having three monitors like me over here. Okay. Yeah. All right, sorry. Can you have multiple windows on your computer and just swipe?
No, that's not it. All right, I'm got it.
Tiffany, if you go to the top, it says view options. You can change the size of the window that Zoom takes up, and then you could put your browser in the section that's not being used.
All right.
Okay, so what are we looking at here currently? So currently the example they gave us here, Amini, you with me? Amini?
Yes, I am.
Oh wow, somebody's at a hotel here.
Okay, Chelsea girl.
Oh, I'm at home.
So
So refreshing.
we see the query says involve maker, correct?
Mhm.
Yes.
Do we see involve maker here where my mouse is?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, cool. So we could change that query. Ideally, you want to query by Q here. Do we see Q here in the parameters?
Mhm.
Q for query. Now I could query by anything. Over here, you need to query by exactly the artist name, right? This is not going to work because you need to know exactly. I need to say Rembrandt plus Van plus Ring. That doesn't work. So you want to go ahead and change in your Postman here. You want to change involve maker to Q here. Q is query. And then you could put in equal and whatever the query is. Is everybody with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
The query would be what, like a
Whatever you want to query for. Birds, milk, whatever. Because Rix Museum, and part of the app too, we want to get familiar with what Rix Museum is, what it has. So if I go to Rix Museum here, and I want to go to Ingles, Rix Museum.
clothes. How could they?
It's closed because of what's going on here. More information.
Oh, Alex, guess where I am?
Where
I'm
are
in
you?
Brooklyn, not in Cali.
You in California,
I'm in
really?
Brooklyn.
Oh, I'm about to say.
No, I'm in Brooklyn.
All right, because yeah, you don't want to go to California.
We
All right, so explore would be fine here. So this is Rix Museum. So things I could search for, I could search by Rembrandt, I should get results. I could search by Van Rijn, I should be able to get results. I could search by Johans, I should be able to get results. I could search for a particular piece of art. Like I could search for lions, that should work as well. So to give us some more perspective on what I'm talking about here, if I bring my app over here, I'm looking at Rix Museum. Can everybody see my app, my simulator?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so here, if I search for Rembrandt, for example, I should get results. Everything Rembrandt has here, or a subset of what Rembrandt has. If I search for, let's see if we have lions. Lions, I get anything that has lions in there. Right. So that query, I'm not searching for an exact painting, for example, I'm searching for a query. So if it has like lion or lio in there, maybe I do have results, maybe I don't. I put in lion, I have results for lion, right? Does that help you, Amini?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so you want to swap, what you want to do is swap where it has involve maker, you want to swap that to Q for query. Okay?
Got it.
And the equal, and then the search query, quote unquote, would be what's coming from a text field.
Exactly, exactly. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, to take it even one step further, we could pull up Postman. Everybody go ahead and open up your Postman, right? Open up Postman. Postman. Can everybody see my Postman?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, what am I looking for?
What if
I'm looking
your
for...
API doesn't say involve maker in general? Oh, never mind. I got the right one.
Okay, cool. So search by postal, search by API, search by... Yeah, I'm good. So everybody sees my Postman, right? So same endpoint, but instead of saying involve maker, I'm saying Q for query. Do we see that where I have it highlighted here?
Yep.
Okay, so now I could put in anything here for that query. I could put in birds, or I could put in milk lady. Milk lady is a piece of art at the Rijksmuseum. And I click send here, and I get results for milk lady. Everybody with me? All right, so that gives us that endpoint there. That answers Amini's question, and we are good to go. Awesome. Amini, you good here?
Yes, I am.
All
Thank
right,
you.
cool. Any other questions? Please, this is the time for questions here.
Is this
And-
the only time?
The what?
Is this the only time? Like, are we going to be able to ask questions throughout the day?
We're gonna see each other every day, twice a day, I heard,
Oh,
But when's the next time that we get back on the phone?
at 2 p.m.
Oh, so we talk in the morning and then we work, and then at 2 o'clock we come back.
Yeah, and then we also have individual check-ins as well with Aaron. Aaron, hello.
Yes.
And Mr. Antonio. And Mr. Antonio.
I'm supposed to say hello too. Hello.
And Madame Sloan.
Hello.
Right.
Hola.
So we'll have individual check-ins with all team members.
on Zoom or Slack? Alex,
Chelsea, you have a question?
are the individual check-ins on Zoom or Slack?
It could be for now, I think Zoom for sure, to just make sure that we all on board here with what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah, so Zoom for now. Like, we'll try to get used to Zoom. Like, all of us, this is new to us, except the Mini here. She's an expert. But this is new to us, so we'll try to use it as much as we can to onboard ourselves. Does that make sense?
Yep.
No questions, huh?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Did we start the project?
Today.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Today.
Let me see the facial expressions here. Okay. Mr. Jahid, how you doing, man? Any questions?
Good done, Alex.
What was that?
I said we are all done.
That was Luba?
No.
Okay, can you submit so I could review it? Is there any part of the app? Well, we haven't started the app, so I'm not even going to show the app. When you guys have questions, I'll show more of what you guys are asking for.
I'm trying to figure out how to move from from picker view to table view.
From picker view to table view?
Yeah. Like, do we put Firebase logic in there?
So what are you talking about? So if I sign out here, you have your login screen, correct?
Yeah.
You're talking about like when you click on next here, for example?
No, after the picker view.
After the picker view. Okay, so let me swap that out. Sign in here. So this picker view here, right? Correct?
Yeah.
So I select Rijksmuseum as a default and I click submit.
Yeah.
And I go to the app.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the part you're trying to figure out?
Yes.
Okay, remember when we did the Firebase demo app, right?
Yeah, the profile.
Yeah, so after the user logs in and they click on submit, it takes them to the app. It's the same logic.
Oh, so
it takes him
has
to
a different
profile.
One at a time. So Tiffany, go ahead, and then Luba.
No, let Luba finish because she was talking. I'm sorry.
Luba, go ahead.
So it takes us to profile, right? And in profile, we're updating more information.
Exactly. So if I go back to our app here, Firebase demo, right? Remember Firebase demo?
Yeah.
Okay. If I log out of Firebase demo, who am I logged in as? I'm logged in as myself. So if I log out, this is the same logic. So I'm able to log in with a user. I'm able to log in. So when I click on that login screen, Luba, what happens?
It takes you to the user's profile.
Well, it takes you to the main app, right? Which shows the feed.
Yeah.
It doesn't take you to the profile. It takes you to the feed, correct?
Uh-huh.
All right, which is the tab controller, correct?
Uh-huh.
So it's the same logic. So when you click on that submit after the picker view, you want to go to the tab controller.
Mm-hmm.
Does
So
that make
it's
sense?
so it's like existing user.
Existing user, new user, doesn't matter, but it takes you to the tab controller.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When I click on, look at the Firebase demo again. Look at the architecture for that. So when I click on login, it takes me to the tab controller. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is there any ambiguity there? Are you clear?
I mean, yeah, I was just thinking, so also like for that database, we have to, is it like creating that database user?
Let's take a look at the database.
No?
Let's take a look at the database. So the database looks like this. If I go to the database, my user, for example. So we have a users database. Again, very similar to the Firebase demo app we did, correct?
Mm-hmm.
After we refactored such that if you create a new account, only when you create a new account, it creates a user, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it creates a user, and then, for example, this is my user object. My user object has the API experience because I chose the museum.
Okay.
In the picker view. Whatever you choose in the picker view goes here. It sends it to Firebase.
So API experience would be one of the like parameters for the user.
Exactly. And the created date, whatever date I created my account, my email, and the user ID.
Okay.
Cool?
Yeah.
And then the other collections we have is a favorite arts objects collection, whatever I've favorited or whatever that user is favorited, and the favorite events as well. Right? What does that look like? We have favorite events, whatever I have for my favorite events, right? And also the favorite app objects.
So our database services will only have functions for favoriting, right?
Yeah, favoriting, removing, checking to see if an item exists, right?
Yeah.
One thing I want to make sure all you guys on board with, for the ID, let's all pay attention here. For the ID, you see that ID here, everybody?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Both the event model and the art object model has an ID property. Right? What am I talking about? If I go to Postman here and I go to say some event, do we see the events array?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see the ID property here?
So we need that.
I would use that instead of using the way we did it with finding a document ID, remember? Everybody?
Yes.
I wouldn't do document ID. I would just use the item ID here or the art ID. Do we see that?
Yeah.
We have an ID already. We should just use that ID. We should not
for the
create.
art,
What's that?
that's for the art.
For the art, and that's actually not the art. That's the Ticketmaster.
Oh, that's tickets?
Yeah, Ticketmaster has an ID. And if we go to art, art also has an ID. Do we see that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So both those models have an ID. Please do not use a new ID.
Okay.
That way, when you go to your database, your art ID is that same ID, will be that ID you use here. I have no favorite ID here. Do we see that? Everybody?
Yes.
All right. So that's a good hint there as you're building out your app, right? Please stick with that hint. And also for favorite events, it uses the event ID. Okay? Same event ID is that same event ID. So we're not saying get us a new document and use that document ID.
Okay.
Okay?
So it's the same UI. The only difference is that the API changes based on whether they choose Ticketmaster or.
Yes. So if I go back to.
Because when we open, like once they sign in and they could choose one or the other, it's taking them to the same setup.
Yep.
The difference is what they're looking at.
Exactly. So there we have to think about state. Everybody who's on this call, please think about state. Okay? What state is my app in? Is it in the Rijksmuseum state or is it in the Ticketmaster state? Okay? So whatever you're doing, there's always a state there in your app. Does that make sense?
Like enum?
Yeah, like an enum, for example. Very good.
You can use it. Yeah.
I would actually say, I know the project says this is a stretch, like a bonus, whatever, but I would really go ahead and build out a setting screen. That way I could change the API experience.
Wait, how is this a bonus? How else would we be able to do this?
Sign out.
On the login.
They want you to log out.
Or like log in and then what? Press another.
Yeah.
Maybe I ain't look at this because I don't know.
Yeah, like the MVP is sign out. When you sign back in, you change the API experience.
Or instead of this, it we would just go
What
to
changes
the.
this experience?
Loba, go ahead then, Tiffany.
Sorry.
So instead of that, we would just, from the sign-in screen, we would just go into tab bar controller.
Exactly. But as I architecture the app here, I would do a settings right away. So if I go back to the document for the project, at the bottom, it says change the app experience, right? Change the app experience. This should change the user experience. So basically have a setting screen, right? Add a third tab. Do we see that? That's bonus.
Mm.
Are we seeing that?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
So I would do that MVP. I would add that as an MVP part. That way it makes you better. It makes the app work better for you guys. That way you don't have to sign out, sign in to change the app experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Everybody, please.
Mm-hmm.
So I would quickly just like do 3 tabs as opposed to 2 tabs, and think about state of the app. Oh, is that delivery at the hotel room? Man, you're living the life.
Eggs Benedict.
Oh wow! I had some eggs. I had to like really quickly eat it. Time is flying. Like I didn't realize it's like so close to 10 already. Okay. Do we understand state? Are we taking notes?
Yeah. I do have a question. So I'm not getting what they said. Like what you guys.
Did you read the README already and make your own notes?
I read the README, but as I read the README, what you're doing right now is kind of like what I saw already, as opposed to.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
No, because I want to know what the other way
MVP has 2 tabs.
Okay.
It has.
When they sign out and when they sign in, that changes. Do they press a button and sign in? Like.
Yeah. So if I sign out, sign out. I'm an existing user, correct? If I sign in, that talks to Firebase normal user.
Gotcha.
Right? And here I could change my API experience.
So you're only changing.
What happened?
1 second. Kelby, go ahead.
So you're only picking the API when you sign up. Like as far as the login screen goes, you're only picking the API when you sign up, and then you can change it in the settings.
Yeah, do it for both though. Like even if I sign in or I create a new user, still have the pick of view there.
Okay.
Okay. But I'm saying it's as opposed to logging out each time to test your API experience, have the settings tab right away.
Yep. Gotcha.
Yes. Question.
Right. So when you open up an app, you like, all right, let's say we close the app down and they're signed in or whatever, and we open it back up. You mean that this should still, even if they don't have to log in, because you don't technically have to log in when you close it down and open.
No, you don't. No, you're not logging in again. So if I click on this, right, and I kill the app. Let me go ahead and kill the app here. I kill the app, correct?
Yeah.
And I go back to the app. I'm still logged in.
Oh, okay, but that's why you would give the opportunity to change in app, because that view is not going to come up.
Yeah. Does that make sense? So I'll take that bonus part here and add it to MVP.
That is something else, Alex. You are something else. Okay.
I'm looking out for you guys, because if you don't do that by Wednesday, you'll be like, oh my God, like what state is my app in? Or what am I doing, right? I have all that spaghetti code and what am I doing, right? So if you start thinking about the architecture, like before you even do more in Xcode, like draw out whatever. Everybody has a whiteboard, right? You grab the whiteboard from the class. I would architecture out the app experience, the login flow, right? What happens in my login flow? I would do that. And I would have a setting so I could change the API experience. That's like where I would architecture my my app. Can I change the experience? Do I have states throughout my app? Does everybody make sense? Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Any other questions here?
Hi, I have a question. So in the rubric.
In the rubric, what section am I looking at?
is the table views a hard requirement?
You could do collection view.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could do UI, whichever what you want to do. Okay, Mr. Hard.
Yep.
Okay.
So if we have any questions, we could throw y'all some Slack messages.
Yes, but I'm trying to keep it classroom for now, especially with CTA for now, right? Like we actually, some of us just starting today. I built this project over the weekend. It took me 10 hours.
It took you 10 hours? Oh,
yeah.
Y'all gave us a week. Thank you.
Well, 10 hours is in a day. Yeah.
If it took you a day, it's just gonna take us a couple of 7. Hey, I'm just.
So I want to make sure that we all on board and we like jumping in today.
I have a last question.
Yeah.
So like in the rubric, I noticed there's like a lot of stuff that's not covered. Should we like
such as what?
Unit 4 stuff, Unit 2 stuff.
Thanks, Ahad.
Wait, I'm not getting the question.
So like notification center and animations, should we still like consider that as like a hard requirement for the CTA?
Notification center and
animations, stuff like that.
Is it in the rubric, correct?
It's not in the rubric, so I was thinking, should that still be considered?
Start thinking as an app developer and what experience you want to give to your user, right? Like if the user clicks on a button, do you want to animate that button? If the user clicks on a text field, are you taking care of keyboard handling? Right? Like think of what you're going to submit to an employer, right? Like that quality there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because an employer will give you an endpoint and they'll tell you go build an app. And they're not going to tell you about objective-oriented principles. They won't tell you about submitting code with print statements everywhere. They're not going to tell you anything about that as a rubric per se. They'll give you a doc and tell you go build an application. They might tell you use object-oriented principles, but as far as like granularly, like that's up to us as the app developer there.
Okay, so let's just try to figure out what's really MVP then.
MVP is basically what we have on screen here. So I could search, I could favorite, I could change the app experience. I could see, for example, let me go in here. Let me change this. I could favorite an item, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could see the detail view of that particular item. There's nothing about scroll views, but ideally, maybe I have it in a scroll view. Ahad?
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right. I could see my favorites. Here, I could remove a favorite. It covers a lot that we've done over the last X units here. Animations, you could add it after you finish MVP as you go, like we always do, right? Animations you don't think of before you build an app, you think about it after, like as the user is going through the app, what do you want to improve on the experience?
Okay, cool. All right. Sounds good enough for me.
And then definitely adding some unit tests there as well. And as you guys submit your pull request, and if you finish early, we'll be like, oh, this is a nice to have, for example. Maybe it's nice to share a photo to somebody.
So the favorites can be, the favorites depend on the state that you're in. Like if you're in.
Yes, so if I change my state here, good question, to Ticketmaster, for example, yes?
Mm-hmm.
That should also change what my favorites is.
Okay.
Right? Again, that's beyond MVP here, to be frank, because the other experience is you have to log out each time. Okay, Tiffany? Does that answer your question?
Yes, so the MVP log out.
MVP is log out, no settings screen, no settings view controller.
And then when you log in,
you have that experience.
Your
But the only reason why I said like include the settings first, that way you guys are not stuck by Thursday. Like what state am I in the app?
And basically all that is as far as like based on the enum, you'll just have different views for the different states.
Yes, like you could have two nibs, like here as we see, these are two different nibs, right? Or custom cells, whatever you want to do there, whether you want to do programmatic or not. There's a requirement for programmatic views, by the way. I chose to make the detail one. There's a programmatic and storyboard. You got to mix and match.
That's fine.
The one I chose to do programmatically was the detail view, and I added the scroll view programmatically. But we have two different cells here. We have a cell for the event, yes? And then if I go and change my state to Rick's Museum, for example, I have a different cell here.
Okay. So you can have a ticket cell, you can have a museum cell.
Exactly.
Make
Exactly.
them the smartest thing, and then just interchange between states.
Exactly. Exactly. Very good.
Does the favorite cell need to be able to segue to the detail view too, or?
It's not a requirement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so which cell goes to the detail view?
The search on the search feed here.
Actually.
Like if I search for milk lady. Where's my milk lady? Click here, I could segue.
Okay.
Cool.
And extra is like if we're typing in and predictive text, it starts to like.
I haven't checked the exact. Before you do that, see what the request quota is.
Right. Okay.
All right. I wouldn't add that as an MVP. Right. Keep this as MVP as possible. Then after you could add in extra features there.
Yeah,
cool.
Thank you.
More questions.
Yeah, Alex.
Yes, sir.
On the README, it says you have to create an account twice. Like once you log in, it says create an account.
What part am I looking at here?
On
the app features? No.
No, go down. No, go up. Sorry, on the login screen.
On the login screen. Sorry. Do you have a section in particular? App description.
Oh, sorry. The UI section.
The UI section, right? Okay.
Yeah. So we sign in, right?
Yep.
And then we go to the picker view controller. Then it says create an account again.
Right here. Oh, it says create account again.
I mean, it says like the email and password again on top.
Don't go with that API. Go with what go with the flow I just showed you guys here.
Okay.
Let's just
I was
see
confused
here.
about
So keep this the way we've been doing, right? Like, or the way a user expects to log in.
Okay.
Either I create a new account, Sering,
Yeah.
or I have an existing account.
Okay.
Correct? If I have an existing account, I just click sign in. It takes me to the picker view.
All right. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just confused about because it had the email and password again right above the pick.
Yeah, that's a glitch there.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Questions?
I got a question.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Good morning. So we don't actually have to follow like the UI that
the UI is always a template.
Okay. So
I expect to see cool apps, different apps from you guys, not what the UI is showing here. Right.
Like
I know you guys always do cool designs and stuff there. Where's Shania? Shania here? Shania.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm just calling you out there. I know you always bring nice designs to the table, so I just want to make sure that we're not sticking to what we see on the CTA README here.
Okay.
All right. You guys have nice colors, nice fonts, right? It's your app, right? The only things I want to say, make sure that you familiarize yourself with like the Ritz Museum, the artwork here, and can you search for those art pieces that we see on screen here? Let me just select this out. So just familiarize yourself with the Ritz Museum app. There's also an app too if you want to download it. So that way you're searching for things as you're building. Questions? I was expecting more questions today. Is that a hint that we haven't started building?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, I love the honesty.
No, it's not. I'm having it's the website is a little difficult to navigate.
Which one? The Rijksmuseum?
Yeah, like obtaining your API key.
That one you let's see. So the API key.
API key is in advanced settings.
Yeah, you go to exactly. I'm trying to get a screenshot.
You have to go to your account first.
I felt like I was in the right direction, but
You go here. You go to account. Am I in my account?
You have to create the application first. I mean, you have to like.
Right here. You go here, Mr. Eric. Mr. Eric.
Yeah.
So you create an application, whether it be via Facebook or whatever.
Oh, look at the family.
Oh yeah.
You change the language?
Yes, I am speaking Dutch, sir. So let me change the language here. Okay. Do you see your settings page?
Yep.
All right. Go to the very bottom.
All right.
There's like an advanced settings area there.
Mm-hmm.
Click on the advanced settings, and you could request an API key.
Okay.
Cool.
Maybe I should have looked further.
No, that's fine. I mean, it's like
I have your key. Let me take a picture.
Yeah, but I think
Hey.
you have to create application inside the website.
I don't have to create an application though.
No.
And your
Nah.
meme is exactly how I'm feeling.
Yeah. Eric, work on that, and if you have any questions, let us know.
All right.
All right. Any other questions from the studio audience?
Are you using Firebase storage or just the?
No Firebase storage.
Okay.
So we're just using URL endpoint. So if we like the URL from the object, I just store it here in the database.
Okay, great.
And we don't need the storage because they have their own URL already, or?
Yes, they have their own URL. There's no photo, there's no profile view controller.
Right.
Right. So the user cannot change their profile.
We don't have to like change the size of it or anything like that.
Yeah, there's no the size you could change because the sizes, some of them are bigger, but for now that's fine. But you could change the sizes using Kingfisher.
Okay.
But we're not storing any media on our Firebase.
Okay. Cool. So we just need a favorite events and
Mr. Brendan. Mr. Brendan. You can hear me.
My mic isn't working, I don't think.
How you doing, sir? Wait for it.
Yes, please.
I want us to jump on that app as quickly as possible, like just dive in. As a matter of fact, the 2 o'clock thing today, we're not gonna do it. Hey, you dancing? Am I gonna see more progress there?
Yes, you are.
Okay. We're gonna definitely do the 10 a.m. tomorrow, but I want you guys to jump in on that. I don't want to interrupt your workflow today. But like tomorrow, you guys should have the login screen, pick up your stuff taken care of already. You should be able to log into the app and see a tab controller. You should be able to search.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
If you already began and you started like I haven't been able to test the storage because I haven't been able to obtain the data yet, but do I have to like uninstall the database now, or I mean,
No.
do I need to uninstall the storage? I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. Even if you put storage on, you don't have to use it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's okay.
Right.
Yeah, no worries there. The one takeaway is make sure that you're thinking about state of the app. The app has 2 states, a museum state and event state, right? Apart from that, everything else is straightforward. There's no profile view. There's no storage.
So Alex, it would be similar to the profile view controller we have in demo app.
Yes. Yeah.
The settings page, right?
Yep. Like the app we built in class, like there's a lot there. We did a lot. But the only thing I wanted to say, as I said, make sure we're using the ID from the model itself, yes?
Yeah.
So we're not saying doc ref equal to document, whatever, collection view, right? We're not creating a new document. Do we understand?
So Alex, for that, you're just saying that the document ID for the items that we're saving is the ID of the item saved, and we're not just
Yes.
creating an automated one.
Yes, yes.
So no UID necessary.
The person who's favoriting, you definitely have the user ID as well.
Got
no
you.
item.
That wasn't making sense. So the user will still have their UID.
Yep,
Their own ID.
Yep.
As far as there's okay, got you.
Like, because remember, when we're searching for a document, we search for a document based on the ID, correct? And that ID is the same ID as the thing you're looking for.
Got it.
So when I want to delete, favorite, whatever, it's easy. Cool?
Yes, perfect.
Awesome. Nora, come.
Oh, so it comes with an ID,
Come say hi.
correct?
Is that Nora?
Hi.
Why are you getting disappearing into the back? What background is that? Nora,
All the kids are here today.
hey girl, hey.
You say morning, baby?
Morning.
Good morning.
Looking good, girl.
Lollipop. A lot of problems. We're in a new world. Those kids are gonna be so spoiled.
40?
They're gonna be so spoiled. We're in a new world. We gotta have to figure out how to teach
that
them.
Alex is softy.
I know.
You
I
to be
know.
at your house for breakfast.
About to be
Thank you, baby.
getting lollipops and hugs. We like that.
Alex,
Yeah.
schools
That's
are
big.
closed till April 20. What about us?
420.
What about us? Is that a Michael Jackson song? We go week by week. Whatever I have from
I'm doing babysitting if y'all want y'all kids at my house.
Yeah.
A lot of new jobs are gonna get created.
No shade.
Yep.
Okay.
New jobs are gonna get created. Jobs are gonna get lost.
No, I'm dead serious.
We're not
That
getting paid.
downstairs
That's
already
not
looks
job.
like a
It's
daycare.
do it for free.
Wow.
Who's doing what for free? I heard
I'm
free.
babysitting for free.
Oh, okay. I'll take you up on that. Be careful what you ask for.
My client.
Cassandra,
What?
how you doing?
Oh my god.
Good.
How's the project?
I'm trying to start it right now as
You
we're
start?
talking.
No. You should say you started already.
Oh, but I didn't want to lie.
You're hurting me.
I had to take a vacation for a little bit. It was my weekend.
I heard you. But I said I put 10 hours in that, so just
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
10 hours. So that means we can probably get it done in 27
Yes, or 13
days.
days. That's what I meant. He didn't catch it.
I caught it now. Took a while.
Yeah, I think we got this.
You guys got this. I always want to make sure I'm giving you all the hints there.
And if we complete it by Friday, the expectation is that if we complete it before, it's due Friday, right?
Whoever completes this project, there's always more stuff to add to it.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, if it's completed before Friday, the expectation is that we finish old labs.
All labs, but also making sure the app is solid.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's why we're making PRs, so you'll get feedback like, hey, maybe you could refactor that view controller, or maybe you could refactor that particular model, right? Maybe you do not need two models. Maybe you don't need a favorite model and an event model. Maybe you could have one event model and have an extension on it to grab the favorite item, right? All those things there's always feedback.
I'm right there with you, Chelsea. We both made the head.
You both what?
We both looked at you like this.
Oh, yeah. But MVP, then you'll get feedback from that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. There's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
What time would the pull request be on?
Tomorrow, end of day.
At 6 p.m.
Yeah, end of day tomorrow.
Pull request meaning like from the branch to master, from the QA to master?
Yes. So yes, exactly. So pull requests from QA to master.
So
and then you tag in all three of us. So you tag in Antonio, Aaron, and myself.
Okay, so off rip, when we make our repo, we should just automatically switch over to a QA branch before we add any files.
Yep.
Do everything on QA.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, tomorrow, we would just make one huge pull request. And there shouldn't be no merge complex, obviously, because it's all us, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay.
Be careful with the readme there.
So we could do get add all. That's what I'm saying. Like we don't have to like do it one by one like we would in group project.
But always keep mindful of what you get add all in though, regardless. Because you don't want to add a DS store.
All in. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Can we put?
So well obviously not DS store, but DS store never really gets added. Am I bugging?
It gets added if you don't.
Oh, it does. Get ignored doesn't matter though if you put it in get ignored.
Yeah, if you are exactly. Yeah. Very good. You could take over this whole lecture or thing here. You got this. Question. There was a question.
Yeah, Alex, I have a question.
Yeah.
In terms of the pull request, while we're working on it and we make a pull request tomorrow in the evening, it might not be, you know, something that you guys can download or like, you know, run at that moment because I'm still going to be working on it or I'm going to be working on something else.
By the end of tomorrow, if we run your app, end of day tomorrow, we should be able to log into the app and have a user created, correct?
Right.
We should be able to see a database user with a default API experience, correct?
Right.
All right. Yeah. So there's stuff there to see. And then we're able to see your code and see how you set it up your app and give you feedback about it.
Okay.
Can I add on to her question?
Yeah.
So like, if you are past that point, right, and when you're past that point, if the app is not working further past that, how? Like,
remember, you're making the pull request from something that's working, so you want to test something. So, for example, you're at a company, right? You're at a company,
yeah.
And tomorrow your manager says, by tomorrow end of day, make a pull request such that I could test the login flow of the app, right?
Right.
So that's what I'll be testing. So you say, you make a tag, you tag us and you say, Antonio, Aaron, Alex, can you test my login flow and my logout flow, right? That's what I have currently on master.
All right.
Right, so whatever you tagging us about, you'll say completed login feature or whatever it is. There'll be other things you're working on that's not ready for testing. We won't test that.
All right.
Does that make sense?
It do, but I just feel like I'm gonna be past the portion that you're requesting.
That's fine. You could pass whatever I said about the login flow. That's like today, right? Tomorrow you should be past that already. Tomorrow you should not be on login flow anymore. You should be working on like favoriting or whatever it is, or segue into some detailed view. Does that make sense?
That does.
Wherever you are at that point in the app, you make the pull request and say, this is the features I've completed. Okay. And then to take it a step further, when you are done, let me go to my repo real quick here. When you're done, we all have a README with a checklist, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so on that README with that checklist, I could go ahead and edit my README and just check whatever I've checked. So if I finish, for example, tested Ticketmaster and Rick's Museum API, I put an X there and I say this is done as a check. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So whatever you've completed, you say those are the features that's ready for reviewing. Yeah?
This really looks big. This checklist looks bigger than the one we have.
You know me, I always, this is very granular.
No, it's more detailed, so you have more checks for doing less.
This is very, very granular, like every step of the app. We could take a screenshot right here if you want.
You're recording, correct?
Maybe.
Alex.
Yes. Hola.
So the technical question, since we're doing the like login and going to the tab bar controller, should we have a default like API chosen and like
the default will be the first one in that case, but the minute the user let me go to the app. So the minute the user, right, I'm in this state of the app, correct, Luba?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I go sign in. Ticketmaster is the default.
But here, this is not tab bar controller.
Tab bar. Oh, wait.
This is not tab bar.
This is I'm in the tab bar now, correct?
No, now, yeah. No.
What default you talking about?
No, like, okay, this looks even more. Okay.
What default?
No, I just said that after you log in, like, you would have a search page.
This is the search. This is the search page
with already default API selected, but then you can go to settings and change it.
Yes.
That's okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay.
Because right now, this is exactly what we have. Like we have Ticketmaster as the default, correct? Ticketmaster. This is why I have a zip code in here as I was just testing the app. So I have a zip code in here.
But what would a zip code do? A zip code brings up what, locations?
Well, the Ticketmaster API, you could search by city or you could search by zip code. Somebody has their, wait a second. Somebody has like something on, like a TV or something. Okay, Tiffany, go ahead.
No, can you type something in so I can see what it looks like?
So what's your zip code?
11203.
No events.
There's nothing there for you.
No, your API is not working.
90210. Okay.
90210.
There are no more events anywhere.
So those are the events in Beverly Hills.
They canceled it this year.
Right?
It's a bad time to take it, Master.
Okay. Oh, Miami. Okay.
So you could search by city, so you have to figure that out. Am I searching by a zip code or am I searching by a city? And then you pass that to the API. Cool?
But it takes an either or. So it's just
yes, either or. So you have to figure that out, right?
It would be like the search query and you just put that into the API.
Exactly. Because the API takes either a postal code or a city code. So if we look at Postman, here, I could search by postal code. Where's postal code? Postal code. I could search by postal code here. Do we see postal code?
Yeah.
Or I could search by city here. Cool? Good? Yes?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So you would have to use two different APIs?
Yeah, there's two different endpoints here.
Oh, okay. Got you. Oh, okay. So,
somebody has some like background stuff playing. Or it's just like kids like us, like over here. All right. How are we doing? More questions?
Alex, is it
Yes,
possible
sir.
to use user defaults with enums?
No user defaults here. What if I go on an iPad? What if I go on an iPhone? What if I go whatever there? You're not locking anything to user defaults.
Oh.
Everything is handled by Firebase. So the Firebase always knows the user state.
Okay, that works too.
Yeah. Because if it's user defaults, then I'm on the iPhone, I'm in a Ticketmaster experience, correct?
Yeah.
If I go to the iPad, I'm in a different experience. This is not good user experience.
Oh, okay. All right.
So keep everything on Firebase there. Good question. So we're not using user defaults, everybody, yes?
Okay.
Everything is by Firebase. Firebase knows your state, your API state. Mr. Brendan, am I going to see cool animations?
Of course. That's all I do. I do that first, and then I'll do API later.
You do Where's Cameron? Cameron, is Cameron here?
That's a good question. Cameron.
Did Cameron go to Florida or something?
Yeah.
Mr. Cameron.
Yeah.
Is he here?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I do.
Cameron didn't come to class?
Alex.
Yes.
Once we send the pull request, should we like wait for the feedback or just continue?
No, keep working, keep working.
Okay.
There's no wait there. Keep working.
Thank you for stopping with us today.
Who is on the call?
Who's that? That's random.
Probably working.
It sounds like Mel.
Can I get a large?
Oh my bad.
pepperoni?
I did not know I had that on. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
Okay, girl. We respect the hustle.
Oh man, I want to be like Kelby and Chelsea. They're living the life.
And they robe. Oh, wait, no, that's a sweater.
Oh, that's not a robe. It looks like a robe. Okay, 5 more minutes and then we'll stop.
All right, cool.
I want to make sure that.
So, Alex.
Yes.
So after the pull request to master, we just work on QA again?
Yes, exactly.
I look mad this time. All right, y'all. So, is class over?
We'll give it We'll give it a few more minutes and then we'll stop. Mr. One, any questions, sir? Are you on here?
I don't think he was able to figure it out.
He was not, you said?
Yeah, I don't think so.
He was in class last week, right? Correct. He was able to test it last week.
Yeah, he sent me. I was trying to help him with it. He was sending me screenshots, and like it's just not recognizing his connection for some reason. So it's probably like a bug on his end, but I don't imagine.
Okay, so we'll have to
being the
onboard
case
him
again.
because there were a lot of questions that have been answered and asked. So
yeah.
I mean, this is being recorded, right?
Yes, it is.
Maybe.
I'm saying maybe.
Oh, Mr. Christian, hello, sir. Hello, how are you, sir, Mr. Hurtado?
How are you, Mr. Paul?
Good. Any questions, sir?
Yeah.
No questions so far. Everyone's asked.
Nope. Did you start? Say
yeah,
yes.
I started already.
All right, very good. That's the truth. I believe you.
How long ago I started is a matter of question.
Started
already.
Okay, jump on top of it, right? It's already half day today.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Base is set up. That's
but we at home, so we could work till midnight.
Yeah, like Cassandra needed my weekend this weekend. My
decompress.
My trip there was a lot going on. My trip got canceled. So
got canceled by the airline.
By the Colombian president. They closed off the borders to non-citizens.
Whoa.
And even if I was a citizen, I'd have to go in self-quarantine for 14 days. So
yeah.
Oh, I'm home for the foreseeable.
You were gonna go see your grandmother, right?
Yeah, I was gonna go see her, but she'll be around.
Okay. If you need anything, we could always Slack out individually and like jump on a call or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
Alex,
cool. Yes.
Coming back at 2 or no?
No. I want us to keep working here. I don't want to disturb our flow today.
Okay.
Whoever is on here, we've taken attendance. Who's not on here, we'll reach out to those individuals. But we'll check in again tomorrow at 10 a.m. But we'll also check in with individuals during the day. If you guys have any questions, Slack us as well. But definitely try to jump on this aggressively. That way you finish in earlier than later, if that makes sense.
Yes, I agree.
Also, are we free to use like Alamo Fire? Or
you could use Alamo Fire, Network Helper if you want for API stuff, right? Image Kit, I wouldn't import Image Kit. I would just import Network Helper, SPM, if you guys want. Does that make sense?
Well, you mean Kingfisher?
Kingfisher is for images.
Yeah.
If you want a network client, you could use Alamo Fire or Network Helper.
Oh, wait, Alex, so
yes.
To save the state, are we going to be using the user or like the collection stuff? Like, are we using Firestore or like the authentication stuff?
Firestore. Let me just pull that up.
All right. Sorry about that.
No. I need the questions. That's why we're here today. So users collection, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the user state. Currently, that user, the API experience state is Ticketmaster.
Wait, hold up. I have to Zoom group chat. Okay, great.
And then what user I am on? I'm on, is this the current user? Alex, let's see. So everybody, can we see our screens here?
Yeah.
So if I change the app experience to museum and I click submit, let's take a look at what's happening here. Click submit here.
Are you saving a string?
Yes.
Okay. Great.
Remember, Firebase doesn't work with enums, right?
Right. That's all my questions asked. I'm going now. Goodbye, everyone.
All right. 1 more minute here for questions, and then we'll end.
Alex, what's the answer?
The answer is right there in front of us. It's on screen. Just grab it. Grab the app, and you're all good to go.
Are you willing to give us a quick scan of your code?
I give us an entire app here. We have the whole
Let me turn
app.
on screen recording real quick.
Yes.
Can you unprivate your repo?
Are you recording this?
Yes. What's that about the README?
Can you unprivate your repo real quick?
Yes, I just did. You caught it?
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys got this.
Let's see something real quick.
It's gonna be enjoyable. You guys are gonna have fun. But really manage your time though. Manage your time properly. Like whenever I do an app like this app, for example, I did 3-hour chunks or 1-hour chunks, whatever, and then took a break, whatever, come back to it. You don't want to do 10 hours today and then you burn out tomorrow. That doesn't help. So like after it's 11 o'clock, so like 11 to whatever, 3 o'clock, I'll bang out as much as I can and then go take a walk or, watch like a Netflix show or something, come back to it, bang out some more, come back again, bang out some more. Before you know it, you're actually enjoying the experience, which we should enjoy the experience. And then it's going to be nice because we're going to be moderating ourselves and balancing ourselves as we go. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And remember to hydrate.
Okay.
This is the pitons behind me, by the way. This is my country.
Oh
I
wow.
was asking, how come when you put your hand back like that, it disappears?
Because it's not exactly right there. This is a new technology, right? We're getting there.
That is so cool.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
So how do I do that so that the back of me is Jamaica?
It's Jamaica. Go to settings and go to virtual
He's
background.
really telling me.
No, seriously, if you want to do it.
He's like, go to settings and go to Kingston.
Go to Kingston. What are you drinking there, sir? Protein?
It's water with strawberry and berries.
Oh man, the guy's healthy. I aspire to be like you, my brother.
You about to
be like you.
I know. Okay, we're gonna end here, yes?
Yeah.
Any more questions?
No.
Meeting adjourned again tomorrow at 10 a.m. We don't have a check-in today because I want us to keep working. We'll have individual check-ins as we need to, right? But we won't have like a group-wide check-in until tomorrow at 10 a.m. Cool?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is Chelsea, are you going back to bed?
No, I'm up.
Okay.
I'm gonna get her massage.
All right, cool. All right, adios. Take care. Stay safe.
All right. Stay healthy, everybody.
Bye, Nora.
Good luck,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
You guys are still here. Julia, you said nothing, Julia.
Okay, bye.
You hang up.
Julia, no questions?
What do you want to hear from me?
What?
What do you want to hear from me so far?
Any questions? No questions?
Not yet.
Did you start?
Yeah, login works for
Okay,
now.
good. Okay, perfect. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.
Cool.
Guys, bye.
How do you stop? Okay.